Welcome back to the channel, traders. I'm Algabot, your guide to the world of automated trading systems. Today we're breaking down a fascinating expert advisor for MetaTrader 5 called SwingFailureReversal. This is a pure price action strategy. It uses no indicators at all, no moving averages, no oscillators, nothing. Instead, it hunts for one of the most well-known patterns in trading, the swing failure, also called a liquidity sweep or a stop hunt. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it spots these reversals, how it manages risk, and how to set it up yourself. Let's dive in. So what exactly does swing failure reversal do? At its heart, this is a counter-trend reversal strategy built entirely around horizontal support and resistance. But here's what makes it different from most systems you'll see. It doesn't use a single technical indicator. There's no relative strength index, no moving average crossover, no Bollinger Bands. Everything this expert advisor decides is based purely on raw candlestick price action and the location of recent swing pivots. Let me explain what a swing pivot is. A swing high is a candle whose high is the tallest point compared to a set number of bars on each side of it. That becomes a resistance level. A swing low is a candle whose low is the deepest point compared to the bars around it, and that becomes a support level. These are the natural turning points on any chart, and they're exactly where traders place their stop-loss orders, which means they're where liquidity pulls up. The strategy trades what professionals call the swing failure pattern. Price pushes beyond one of these levels, sweeps the stops resting there, but then snaps back and closes on the other side of the level, leaving a long rejection wick. That failure to hold beyond the level is the signal that the move was a trap, and the EA fades it. This system is designed for liquid instruments that produce clean stop runs. Think gold, which is ZOSD, or the British pound against the dollar, PUST. It works best on the 15-minute and 30-minute time frames. In terms of trader personality, this suits someone who likes counter-trend, mean reversion style, trading rather than chasing momentum. Remember, this is educational content designed to help you understand the mechanics. It is not a promise of any particular outcome. Now let's get into the exact mechanics, step by step. The expert advisor only makes a decision once per fully closed candle. It never acts on a candle that's still forming, which keeps its signals stable and prevents repainting. First, the EA maintains a running memory of recent closed bars. On each new bar, it scans backward to find the most recent confirmed swing high and the most recent confirmed swing low. A swing high qualifies only when its high is strictly the highest over a fixed number of bars, set by the pivot parameter, on both the left and the right side. The swing low works the same way, but for the lowest low. Because the pivot needs bars on both sides to confirm, these levels are always lagging slightly, which is exactly what we want. They're proven, settled levels. Next comes the signal logic. For a short trade, the strategy detects when the just closed candle pokes its high above the most recent resistance level, but then closes back below it. That's a swept resistance. The market reached up, grabbed liquidity, and failed. The EA then checks the rejection. The upper wick must be at least a minimum fraction of the candle's total range. If the wick is dominant enough, the strategy signals a sell. The long trade is the mirror image. The EA detects when the candle dips its low below the most recent support level but closes back above it. Support held, the sweep failed, and if the lower wick is large enough relative to the bar's range, the strategy signals a buy. Now let's talk risk management, because this is where the strategy is quite elegant. The stop loss is structural. For a short, it's placed just beyond the high of the sweep candle, with a small buffer expressed as a fraction of that candle's range. For a long, it's placed just beyond the sweep low. Because the buffer scales with the candle's own size, it automatically adapts to any symbol or time frame without needing to know the point size. The take profit is then set as a fixed multiple of that stop distance, the reward ratio. So if the structural stop is, say, 20 points away, and the reward ratio is 2, the target sits 40 points in profit. This gives the strategy a consistent risk-to-reward profile on every trade. Finally, the EA only holds one position at a time per magic number, then lets the structural stop and target do their job. Let's bring this to life on the chart in front of you. We're looking at the British pound against the dollar on a 15-minute time frame, and I've marked two key levels. The green dashed line is a swing low support, and the red dashed line is a swing high resistance. Watch how the strategy works around them. Early on, price carves out that swing low, and the green support line gets drawn at its base. Price bounces, rallies for a few candles, and then drifts back down towards support to test it again. Now watch closely. This candle stabs its low clean below the green line, sweeping the stops sitting under support, but it can't hold down there. It snaps back and closes well above the level, leaving a long lower rejection wick. That's the swing failure. The EA signals a buy entry right here, at around 1.2680. From there, price pushes higher, candle after candle, until it reaches the take profit target at roughly 1.2734, locking in the planned reward. Now the second half of the sequence. Price keeps climbing and prints a fresh swing high, so the red resistance line is drawn at the top. Price pulls back, consolidates, and then makes another run at that ceiling. This candle spikes its high above the red line, sweeping the liquidity above resistance, but again it fails. It closes back below the level with a tall upper rejection wick. That's the bearish swing failure, and the EA signals a sell entry near 1.2745. Price then rolls over and slides down to the take profit at around 1.2705. 2 trades, 2 failed sweeps, both faded. Notice there's no oscillator and no moving average anywhere, just price, structure, and rejection. This is purely illustrative, of course, to show the logic in action. Let's walk through every input so you know exactly what you're adjusting. The first parameter is pivot left-right, which defaults to 3. This controls how many bars must sit on each side of a candle for it to count as a swing pivot. A higher number, up to 8, gives you stronger, more significant levels but fewer of them. A lower number, down to 2, makes the EA more sensitive and produces more frequent but less reliable levels. Next is MinWickFrac, defaulting to 0.40. This is the minimum rejection wick size, measured as a fraction of the signal candle's full range. At 0.4, the wick must be at least 40% of the candle. Raise it towards 0.7 to demand a really dramatic pin bar rejection and filter out marginal pokes. Lower it towards 0.1 to take more setups. Then we have StopBufferFrac, default 0.15. This is the extra cushion placed beyond the sweep extreme for your stop loss, again as a fraction of the candle's range. A larger buffer gives the trade more breathing room, but widens your risk. Setting it to 0 places the stop right at the sweep wick. Reward ratio defaults to 2. This sets your take profit as a multiple of the stop distance. At 2, you're targeting twice your risk. You can push it up to 5 for bigger targets that hit less often, or pull it down toward 1 for more frequent, smaller wins. Lots defaults to 0.10, and that's simply your fixed position size. Always size this to your own account and risk tolerance. Finally, the magic number, defaulting to 6301, is just a unique identifier so the EA can track its own trades separately from anything else running on the platform. Now let's review the backtest results, and I want to be completely transparent with you here. These are historical simulation results only, run on gold. That's ZOST, on the 4-hour time frame, from January 2023 through to the end of December 2024, starting with a 10,000 unit deposit. They are not a guarantee of future performance. Over that 2-year window, the strategy took 80 trades in total. 21 of them were winners and 59 were losers, which puts the win rate at about 26%. That sounds low, and it is, but a low win rate is completely normal for a reversal system that aims for a reward larger than its risk. In fact, the average winning trade came in around 306, while the average loser was about 136. So the winners were more than twice the size of the losers, exactly as the reward ratio is designed to do. But here is the honest part. Over this particular sample, the math didn't come out ahead. The profit factor was 0.80, which is below 1, meaning the gross losses outweighed the gross profits. The net result was a loss of roughly 1,580 over the period, and the maximum drawdown reached about 37%. With as many as 9 losing trades in a row at the worst stretch. That kind of losing streak is something any trader of this style has to be prepared for, both mentally and financially. So what's the takeaway? On this symbol, in this time frame, over these 2 years, the big winners simply weren't frequent enough to overcome the steady drip of smaller losses. It's a powerful reminder that a great reward-to-risk ratio alone doesn't make a system profitable. The win rate has to support it. And keep in mind that backtests don't fully capture real-world slippage, spread widening during news events, or commissions, so live results can differ further still. Treat this as a research tool to understand the strategy's character, not as any kind of promise. If you want to dig deeper, load the Expert Advisor into the MetaTrader 5 strategy tester and try other symbols, timeframes, and parameter settings. This is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. Let's get the Expert Advisor installed. It's a straightforward process. Step 1. You need to copy the compiled EA file, the one ending in .ex5, into MetaTrader's Experts folder. To find it, open MT5, click the File menu, and choose Open Data folder. From there, navigate into the MQL5 folder, and then into the Experts folder. Drop the file right in there. Step 2. Back in MetaTrader, find the Navigator panel on the left. Right-click on Expert Advisors and choose Refresh, or simply restart the platform. Your SwingFailureReversal EA should now appear in the list. Step 3. Open a chart for the symbol you want to trade, say gold or the British pound, and set it to the 15 or 30-minute time frame. Then drag the EA from the Navigator directly onto that chart. Step 4. A settings window pops up. Go to the Inputs tab and set the parameters we discussed earlier to your preference, then click OK. Step 5, and this is the one people always forget. Make sure the Algo Trading button in the top toolbar is enabled and glowing green. Without it, the EA will load but won't place a single trade. Once that's on, you'll see a smiley face in the top right corner of the chart, confirming the EA is active and watching the market. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the SwingFailureReversal Expert Advisor. We covered what it is, a pure price action reversal system with no indicators, how it spots failed sweeps of support and resistance, the structural way it handles stops and targets, every parameter you can tune, and how to install and test it yourself. Remember, everything in this video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice, and it's not a recommendation to trade any particular strategy or instrument. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more MT5 strategy analyses, and drop a comment letting me know which expert advisor you'd like me to break down next. You can find more at www.algobot.live. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Trade responsibly.